This is a tumultuous time for you, Virgo, and expect to be surrounded by catty energy. Now, and on one hand, this could be extremely exciting. You know, could be like, bring it on, man. Like, it could be extremely like almost reminiscent of the high school days when mean girls at the fucking like table, at the lunch table, it could be reminiscent of that, like, yeah, like energized and youthful. But it could also be very disruptive and even interrogative or um 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 exposing things that maybe you weren't ready to talk about yet. There is definitely desires that are in your heart that are being majorly impacted by your eighth house right now that haven't been paid enough attention to. And there's this strange twist of fate or need to be something that you're not, or just rebellion, a need to like break out of a shell that you've been stuffed in, that's really pulling on your heartstrings and your energy levels as to what really appeals to you right now. And ultimately, this may come out, I think it's in your 10th house, in work, maybe exacerbated by something that's going on in work, which is one of the last places, work or college, wherever you are, that's your foundation for what you're building in life. It's one of the worst the problem with the cattiness, it's in one of the worst places. When we were young, we were kids, we were in high school. High school was high school, everybody was that way. But when you go into a professional place and then people start talking, that's just not something that you want to have to deal with. And unfortunately, there are feelings or incidences that are going to spike interest in or drum up some, feelings that you didn't expect. And it could be feelings that cause trouble for you, cause trouble, especially in the home space, in the fourth house. Very much like almost like judgmental, but I almost feel like I feel like it's the ancestral judgment, as in, what would my grandma feel if she was here? How, she'd be looking down on me right now. The assumption that somehow the way that you behave, somebody's love for you is hinging on your behavior or the choices that you make now. Almost like you've invented this little jury that's hanging over you in your mind, judging you and it's really just your own harsh criticism of yourself. There is a way through this. There's an understanding and just the ability to really like let your heart shine, and whatever it's saying, to accept it right now and know that if there are changes or things are different, like you're going against something that you had said in the past, ultimately it's because something's bothering you. And like what I really want you to focus on this week, Virgo, is be on your own side, not to the point of arrogance where you won't listen to others. Of course not what I mean. But I think you know what I mean when I say be on your own side, as in, you're going to be tempted to really hate yourself for feeling certain things or wanting to say certain things or being tempted into specific situations that maybe are a little bit beneath you. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, we all need that kickback. We all have our guilty pleasure reality show that we watch, even if we don't admit it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's that kind of thing where it's just like, listen, I did it. I'm not sitting here trying to be proud of it. But ultimately, simultaneously, does that make me a fucking evil person? Does that mean that I deserve to be judged and persecuted and that kind of like open-heartedness that needs to happen in and around this area of your life is really important right now, especially when it comes to you. I heard a saying, and this saying is really important, and that saying is it comes from one of my angel cards. If you are compassionate to yourself, the world shows you more compassion. So it's a sense of the harder you are on yourself right now, the harder the world is going to be with you, be on you. And sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves by adapting this sort of like arrogance that could happen. This fifth house energy, the unbalanced energy, is arrogance, the sense of sticking up for something, even when we know we're not happy about it. That's not really getting on your own side. Getting on your own side is recognizing and realizing that the expectations of perfection only lead me to places that hurt me, that cause me to suffer, and back me into corners that I don't want to be backed in, because now I have even more expectations on myself. They're not even sincere expectations. So the real challenge this week is coming, well, it's coming through work. That's the truth. But it's also how you are able to kind of navigate it, because there are desires. There's the eighth house, which is where Uranus and Mars and the moon right now, as I film this, are for you. And, you know, that Taurus in your eighth house, a moon in Taurus in your eighth house can be very, very sexual, because you rule the eighth house. You know, it's the house of sensuality, and Taurus is a very sensual moon. It's about 3D worldly pleasures, and there's a sense of that eroticism that lies in Scorpio being dug up from underneath. And then there's a sense of not wanting to conform anymore, and having Mars there to insist that you don't want to conform anymore. And I know Virgo, and this is where the impetus is in your fourth house, this set, because Venus is there, this sense of really caring about your family and really caring about how they feel and protecting them. But ultimately it's clashing up against all this fate and this destiny and this awakening in the fifth house, which is what you desire, not what your family desires or what your family wanted for you, but what you desire out of life and what's right for who you are, right? And there's just this, there's a pressure point, there's a pressure valve being released in that eighth house. And I've said this before, Virgos are very sensual. They just don't necessarily show their sensuality right up front. But if there's a hidden freak in the fucking zodiac, it is Virgo. They are freaking. You know, they're like Earth Mother in the street, and then freaky fucking sadistic S&M bitch in the bed. It's awesome. It's awesome. But ultimately, there's a conflict between the two now. And there doesn't need to be. And that's what I'm talking about loving yourself, about accepting who you are, and being very tender about these subjects that come up, not only for somebody else though, okay? But also for you, you know, this sense of just like being on your own side, or starting to be able to feel more compassion for another person, because now you understand the position that they're in. And it could come as a surprise to you, because this energy in your eighth house, this Taurus, Taurus Mars conjunction, and then the ascendant and moon, and all of these things coming together could really start to sort of enlighten you and make you almost realize or feel what somebody else has felt, or remember what they had felt. And this could be your fourth house. This could be the enlightenment and awakening to make you realize maybe somebody that you were really angry at, some mother figure, somebody that had disappointed you in the past because of a decision that they had made. Suddenly now you understand and recognize why they made that decision, because earth signs usually need this. They need to put their feet in the footprints or the footsteps to really understand what somebody else has gone through. And then there's this amazing awakening. So I really feel like there's this amazing awakening with you right now. Now, there could be some, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to blow up your spots, Virgo, but there could be some hanky-panky going on at work, or not even actual physical hanky-panky, but like fantasizing hanky-panky. And you're totally cool with keeping it fantasizing. You're okay with, but somebody like honed in on your fantasy that didn't really belong there and shouldn't be blowing up your spot. And that's where the chattiness and the cattiness comes in, that could cause problems and basically put you on the defensive. And when Virgo gets on the defensive, somebody's going to be ripped the fuck up. Like somebody's going to be torn down without even a punch being thrown, with just knowing how to push people's buttons till they're crying on the ground. Like somebody, and ultimately, that's really not where you wanted to end up, because ultimately you don't want to feel any shame for things that you feel or things that you think, and you shouldn't have to feel any shame. And if somebody's behaving that way, then they're the ones that should feel the shame, not you. You're just sitting there rolling about your day. You didn't ask for any trouble. Unless, of course, there's one of these extreme cases where in some way, shape, or form, you knew that you were treading on thin ice. In which case, I will just let you know, and you don't have to blow up your spot in the comments. Please don't. But the ice will fucking break. And lava's underneath. And so there's a sense of going from something that was really cold, in other words, something that you kept really repressed, like denying its existence, and then all of a sudden the heat and the explosion comes out. And yes, I'm using quasi-sexual innuendos because this is a very sensual aspect right now. All of this kicking off in your 8th house is really, it's really pushing those dark, forbidden buttons. And it's something that maybe you have felt for the better of your family or for the continuity of tradition that you needed to keep to yourself, but you so desperately want to be liberated right now. Let me get into what I see. First of all, we'll start with the Lenormand. This is the cattiness. This is the immature cattiness, or being afraid of not really, or being inexperienced. But I feel like this is immature cattiness. That's what it is. Or talking like children. You know what I'm saying? Like the mean girl shit. And it will irritate you. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to lie. It will irritate you. You will not want to let it irritate you, but it's hard to not let it irritate you because it's designed to press your buttons, and somebody could be hanging something over your head, like they're pretending to be your friend. They pretend to have your fucking back, but then they're hanging something over your head, and by their innuendos that they know something you don't want them to know, and that they're not really your friend anymore. That's why this card comes up. Bam. Be ready for battle. I'm not saying that you have to go to battle, but be ready for it. There's a need to prepare for it because everything seemed hunky-dory. Somebody that helped you at one point. Somebody that was really good and giving to you, supportive. And this is all like your friends got your back. Your friends got your back. So it could very well be your friends do have your back, and this is coming from the outside. And it's your friends yourself that are preparing to help you out. And you may need to call a friend, especially if this has to do with work. You may feel the need to call a friend and talk to them right now to kind of be reminded, that's a good idea, to be reminded that you are loved and that you do not have to be perfect. And it could be that conversation with your friend that actually helps prepare you to be able to take a bitch down, right? Because this is kind of good guidance. All of these are coming up as, you're loved. People care about you. They believe in you. They're giving you good advice. They're walking with you on that path. They're not going to let you walk alone. That you're supported, that you're loved. And these could be the people that you want to protect and defend, especially if you have a child. This is very Piscean energy. Especially if you have a child. People that you love and know love you. People that got your back, the ability to have a good time and feel good about yourself and not have to give up or sacrifice all of these beautiful things because somebody's starting shit. There is this sense of liberation here. That's a good thing, because if this is something that you have been holding in your heart or settling for, like icing over this fire, there's a sense of freedom now. There's a sense of being ripped. The horrible thing about it is it may not be your choice of how the Band-Aid's ripped off, but it will be evident that the Band-Aid needed to be ripped off, and there is a sense of relief right now. This is where I keep getting ancestral, right? Seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. A sense of this 4th house energy. And so very much so, it could be this sense of something that you discover about one of your ancestors or about your mother, about your grandmother. You know, something that's going on that really, really hurts you, makes you suffer, but also makes you see them in a different light, you know? And it's like longing for that time in your life when you were young and you didn't realize these things. You know, you didn't know about all these things, and you didn't have to deal with situations that you didn't want to deal with. This is really about learning something that you didn't want to know, or somebody learning something that you didn't want them to know. But it is about this information that was intentionally repressed coming out anyway. Now, give yourself the best comes out to remind you that, so it's either telling me that this is some sort of indulgence that you allowed yourself to have, or this is some sort of indulgent behavior that was allowed in the past. It's decadence, it's joy, it's something that you can't get enough of, but also it's something that somebody's using against you. Or, but see, this is the thing. They can only use it against you if you feel shame for it. Because even though it's none of their business and they should not have told, or blah blah blah, maybe this information shouldn't have come out, once it's out, there's a sense of, but remember to be good to yourself, and remember to be forgiving of others, and remember that everybody's human and has these foibles. That kind of behavior, this is beautiful energy. And I know this is about you. This is a new beginning and a new start for you. Virgo, hold your vision. Hold your, like, know what you feel, know what you believe, know what you decided is the best for you, and stick with that. A new romantic cycle begins. But emotions are running high. A time to give rather than receive. New moon in Virgo. New moon in Virgo is a good time to plant seeds. It's a good time to water the seeds. It's a good time to go out and nurture those things that have been planted in the past. Because that's how Virgos give. You know, Virgos cultivate. Let's get into your spirit guide, your animal tarot message, because there's a little bit of ambiguity here that I don't like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, like this video and share it on your social media platforms, because that really helps the channel grow. I upload between 12 and 14 wonderful pieces of astrological and spiritual intuitive guidance every single week. They are not time sensitive. You can watch them at any time. I really do believe that they come to you. The messages in the videos come to you when need be. And you don't just watch your sun sign. You always watch at least your sun, your moon, and your rising. And then you can go peek in on other people if you're curious as well. And every single one of these videos, you'll get notified if you ring that bell. Virgo specific content comes out every Friday with Cancer and Leo. Every Friday like clockwork. There's always an extended reading, which is a tarot card spread. And if you want specifics and details, then you really do need to go over there and watch that. It asks blatantly what the challenges are. Who is the challenge? Who's creating these challenges? And then how to get them out of your way and what the future is. And then of course we have the romantic reading, the romance specific reading as a part of that reading as well. That link is always below, but you can subscribe to Vimeo as well, and then you'll get access to the extendeds like a day before this link here comes up. I also post my weekly astrological forecast over on Vimeo. It's totally for free, but that's where I upload it. And yeah, you'll be able to be subscribed to that and get notified when that's up too every single week. I do a general overview of the cosmos and the general energy that will be impacting us all. And then I also post that to Instagram, which is, yay! Please join me on Instagram, because that's where I go live, usually Monday through Friday. I do general readings over there, Born_without_boundaries. I'd be so happy to see you over there too. So that's my little flash, commercial for myself. Let's see Virgo, please. Virgo. I want to clarify a little bit of this what's going on. In it, you know what it is? It's like a juxtaposition. In one way, you really did need this liberation. In another way, you didn't need to be forced into the way it had to happen. That's the issue. And you might be by people who are being fucking immature. See the big picture. So this is advice for you. This is Taurus energy. See the big picture, as in be objective. Don't allow yourself to judge yourself so harshly. See everything that's involved. Number one, everyone who's involved. See who they really are and believe it, you know? And then, but also like remove yourself personally and see if these are just people. You know, would I be that critical of them? And if I'm that critical of them, maybe I should apply this to myself and say, what if this was me? How would I want to be treated? That kind of thing. Time to let go. This is Scorpio energy. So something is coming out that's been hidden, but it was a heartache. It was a point of suffering for you. So it had to be healed. It had to be released. But ultimately, like I said, you like to have these things. I don't know if they're ever really comfortable though, are they? That's the problem. Are they ever really comfortable? This is Taurus and Scorpio. And it's interesting that all of this Taurus energy is in the 8th house and they're direct opposites from each other. You know, Taurus is all about tradition and upholding tradition. But the 8th house in Scorpio is all about what is hidden and what is the underbelly and what is rejected in society. And there's that sense of where do I fit in? Where do I belong? And maybe I've tried to fit into the up and up for way too long and not honor those aspects of me that are a little bit on the outside. Set healthy boundaries. Yep. I'm just going to leave that there. This is Cancerian energy. It's also when I see the armadillo, it's weight. It's too much weight. Like something that you're hiding behind. The way that you're protecting yourself or defending yourself or defending your family has become too much of a burden. It's like healthy boundaries don't burden you. They make your life better. But this is something that's really burdening you. It's really bringing you down. Take a leap of faith, and that's hard to do. So I know that you have it in you to do it, but it is going into a zone that you're not comfortable with. Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be discomfort here. Like, what do? I got to jump. Bring a gentle touch. So this is Virgo energy. Innocent. Just innocence, nurturing through innocence, through wide-eyedness, like giving just to take care of and nurture somebody. Love, this could be a new love, taking a chance on a new love. Interesting. Embrace the in-between. So it could be, see, I just heard this. This is like a new love that isn't necessarily conventional. That's what I just heard inside my head. And then magic works through you, but being able to make this situation work. This is Cancerian energy as well. So this is ambiguity here. It's also partnership. It's also trying to blend in, like trying to not bring that much attention to yourself as all of this happens. And you know what? You did have that right. You did have that right. And for somebody to take that from you, it's fucked up. Virgo. Whoa, what just came out? It's okay. So, oh my God. So, like these cards know you, but at the same time, they don't. Anxiety. We surround you with the healing light of amethyst. Take a deep breath and breathe in this beautiful violet light. Feel your anxiety melting away. There is nothing to fear. There is only love. But this tells me that you are really feeling anxious right now. that this is getting to you and maybe making you overreact in ways that are exposing yourself. So please be aware of that. Maybe that's why the self-judgment was so important. That was my first channeled message, was keep away from such horrible, like, myopic and blinders, like ways of seeing things, because you could get trapped in that zone, and then the anxiety is just going to explode. Adventure. Instead of seeing the current situation as an obstacle, just consider this. Try seeing it as an adventure. Explore all the possibilities. There are many more than you currently imagine. Instead of seeing things as either black or white, try to explore all the colors in between. And that's really interesting, because this is the embrace the in-between. So what's the in-between parts? What does that mean to you guys? There's something in between. There's a middle road. Is helping people see things that are not the extremes. That is necessary right now, especially for you and your well-being. And then love. The heart of love is the heart of creation. All is possible through love. All is worthwhile for love. May all you think and feel reflect love's eternal truth. And with that, because love is so prevalent here, let's see what Tarot has to say. That link is in the description box below. I'll see you guys over there, Virgo. Bye.